Making this video because I was having some rust issues with my truck. I'm not a professional, so I can't tell you the professional way to do this, so don't try this at home, but this is just what I did. So when you live in Pennsylvania, this is about what your bumper's going to end up looking like because of all this salt on the roads. And apparently this doesn't pass inspection. So I got a new bumper, well, a used bumper, and I actually got this off the front of a dump truck at the junkyard for $31. It's too wide. Gotta cut a section out of the middle, weld the two ends together, and use the piece I cut out as a brace in the center and the back. And I'll show you that whole process. So one nice thing about a giant rust hole, it makes the bolts really easy to get to. How often does that happen on a repair job? So basically now what I did, bumper needs to be 6 feet wide. So I measured in 3 feet from each end. I put a line. I did that with the other side too. I'm gonna basically cut that center section out, weld the two together, and this center piece here, just 17 inches, is gonna go in the back. So here we are after I cut it. I just used the 4.5 inch angle grinder and a little bit of work with the Sawzall. I'm gonna work a little bit on getting this a little straighter in here so it fits together nicer. We're just over 6 foot, which is where we wanted to be. I'm gonna put this plate that I cut out of the center, I'm gonna cut this bottom off so that it'll be able to weld into the back of this as a support in the middle, in addition to the weld that I'm gonna be putting in here. Alright, so here's a look from the back. I'm gonna clean this up better before I paint it, once I get this welded. This is a piece that I cut out of the center. You can see it doesn't fit in. I'm gonna cut this bottom off here, that this will go flat into here. Took a sandblaster and I cleaned off the metal where the welds are gonna go. And I might end up cleaning off some of this stuff better too. I'm not real worried about this little bit of rust along here, because that plate, once I cut, it's only gonna come down to about here. So this will still all be open, and I can sandblast that before I paint it again. This is a pretty heavy bumper. As you can see, it's like a 1/4 inch thick. So it took some grinding. I did clean the edges up a little bit. Still aren't perfectly flush. Looks a little worse because they aren't sitting even on the ground here. But I can pretty much just fill weld all of this from the back and from the front and grind it smooth. Put the plate on it. You won't even see that. So now we're going to go on to finish cutting this and welding it. Alright, so now you can see I welded the two halves together. I welded the plate in the back. The weld's not wonderful, I don't have a real good welder. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sandblast it and paint it. Get all this rust out of the interior. I'm going to do some grinding on the other side. Cut out this relief here for where the tow hitch goes through. First thing I'm going to do is I mark this hole here. I'm going to drill out, because that actually fits on my stock mounting bracket. I'm just going to make the other mounts once I have it on there. So now I went and I welded this all together. I fill welded these holes to the plate in the back so the water can't get in. I cut this this out around where the tow hitch is, so that'll fit in because the bumper's higher, so it drops down lower than the stock bumper does. If you come under here, you can see plate that I welded in the back. I welded the entire way around. If you come up, right now I just have this bolted on to the top of the stock bumper mounts. Just marked it with a marker and drilled a hole through to mount it. But I am making these other mounts on the bottom here. Just have this kind of roughly on here with bolts, and this is going to get welded here. Have it marked where I want to weld it. This I actually got out of my scrap bin. If you look, that's actually the mounting brackets off of running boards. I just drilled some holes in them to line up. I cut this end piece off. Now this flat section here is going to weld to the bumper. This area I have the holes drilled is going to bolt fast. I'm just going to clean this up more after I weld it and paint everything, and we're just about done. So here you see everything's finished. I installed this license plate light. Just drilled out a big hole for that, stuck it in and wired it fast. Looks pretty good. I'm happy with it.